Hello, welcome back to anatomy session. This is Dr. Rajita. We shall continue with the gastrointestinal tract development. In previous session we have learnt about development of foregut, and today we are going to continue with the development of midgut and its rotation. So the midgut, if you see its development, it is a straight tube-like structure between the anterior intestinal portal and posterior intestinal portal, communicating cranially with the foregut and caudally with the hindgut. It was like a straight tube, and it communicates anteriorly on the ventral side with the yolk sac. And because of the head fold, tail fold and two lateral folds, the communication between the midgut and the yolk sacs gets constricted. So because of its narrowing, this communication becomes a thin tube-like structure which is called as vitellointestinal duct. Later the midgut won't be able to grow inside the abdominal cavity because there is no space in the coelomic cavity of abdomen region to grow, because the abdominal cavity is mainly occupied by the growing liver, and along with that mesonephros, which forms the kidneys, they are also present on the posterior abdominal wall. So because of these two structures, there is no space inside the abdominal cavity for the midgut to grow. So instead the midgut loops out from the umbilical opening. So it loops out of the umbilical opening, protruding into extra embryonic coelom. This loop, when it protrudes, it is called as physiological hernia, which is a very normal condition. And when it protrudes out along with the midgut, we see the dorsal mesentery also comes along with the midgut. Unlike foregut, the midgut has got only dorsal mesentery. In foregut, we saw the foregut has got the ventral mesogastrium and dorsal mesogastrium, which are present in front and behind the stomach. Reach the loop of the midgut. Reach externally the loop of the midgut, dividing the loop into pre-arterial segment and post-arterial segment. So superior mesenteric artery divides the loop into pre-arterial segment and post-arterial segment. So if we see, this ring is the umbilical opening through which the midgut protrudes out. So it protrudes out ventrally like this. And here is the pre-arterial segment, and the down is the post-arterial segment, because of the superior mesenteric artery terminates near the apex of the loop, dividing the segment into pre and post-arterial segment. Next, near to the termination of superior mesenteric vessels, we see a development of a diverticulum from the post-arterial segment, which is called as cecal bud. So this loop herniation of midgut, it herniates around 5th week of intrauterine life, and most of the growth of the midgut happens outside the abdomen. So it lies from 5th week to 10th week of intrauterine life. It lies outside the abdominal cavity. After 10th week, it involutes back into the abdominal cavity. So initially the loops are like this. So later there is a rotation in anti-clockwise. In rotation in the anti-clockwise, where now the pre-arterial segment lies on the right side and post-arterial segment lies on the left side. So the pre-arterial segment, after it grows, it starts convoluting itself to form coils of intestine. So the pre-arterial segment grows enormously, forming the coils of intestine. And before beginning of the cecal bud, when the cecal bud appears, here the vitellointestinal duct, it regresses completely. The cecal bud usually appears during 6th week of intrauterine life. So at that time, the vitellointestinal duct regresses and disappears under normal conditions. So after anti-clockwise 90 degrees rotation, now the pre-arterial segment is on the right side. So here we can see the pre-arterial segment is above and post-arterial segment is below, and in between is the superior mesenteric artery. And later, because of 90 degrees anti-clockwise rotation, pre-arterial segment is on the right side, post-arterial segment is on the left side, and in between the superior mesenteric artery is present. So this rotation happens outside the abdomen. Midgut is lying the outside the abdomen, growing enormously, where after 90 degrees of rotation we are seeing the pre-arterial segment present on the right side and post-arterial segment present of the left side, and in between the superior mesenteric artery is present. So this rotation had happened 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So this is anti-clockwise rotation. After rotation, this is how they are present. The rotation is because of there are two bands which anchors the midgut from inside the abdomen. The two bands are called as superior retention band and inferior retention band. Superior retention band, it is present between the dorsal side of the proximal part of the midgut. The dorsal side proximal part of the midgut, the mesentery starts getting condensed and it gets thickened to form the superior retention band. Similarly, from the caudal side, that is from the post-arterial segment on the dorsal side, there is a inferior retention band which is the condensation of the mesentery from inside. Superior retention band in adults, it forms the suspensory ligament of duodenum which attaches to the duodenojejunal flexure in adults, and inferior retention band, it forms the phrenicocholic ligament which is present between the left flexure of the colon and to the diaphragm. It is reflected from the diaphragm, called as phrenicocholic ligament. So these two bands anchors the midgut from inside. And the first rotation to 90 degrees, it happens because the right lobe of the liver grows down and it grows enormously and it compresses the pre-arterial segment. It pushes the pre-arterial segment down. So because of that, this rotation happens in anti-clockwise direction. So the distal part of the duodenum and coils of the jejunum and proximal part, except the terminal part of the ileum, the whole small intestine develops from the pre-arterial segment. Post-arterial segment, we can see the distal part of the ileum, and here the cecal bud starts developing. If we see the cecal bud, the proximal part of the cecal bud which grows enormously to form cecum, and the distal part of the cecal bud which remains as a small structure called as appendix. And the rest of the post-arterial segment forms the ascending colon, then initial two-thirds of the transverse colon, and rest of the colon is from the hindgut. So this is how the pre and post-arterial segment derives to form most of the small intestine and part of the large intestine. So next, let's see what happens. Slowly now the midgut has to involute back into the abdomen. So approximately at the end of the 10th week of intrauterine life, we see the midgut starts involuting back inside the abdomen because the abdomen has grown now, having a space for the midgut, and liver also reduces its size to its normal size. So we'll see how it involutes. The umbilical opening is quite small when compared to these intestinal loops. These intestinal loops are grown enormously which cannot involute at a stretch. So it happens in a step-by-step manner. So first pre-arterial segment starts involuting and the cecum is like a neutral observer and which guides the rest of the intestine midgut loops to go inside the umbilicus. So the cecum here is present. The first is the pre-arterial segment which involutes back inside the abdomen. Then the post-arterial segment gets involuted and slowly the cecum gets involuted back inside the abdomen. So now they are inside the abdomen. Inside the abdomen, initially if we see the coils of the intestine, they are present on the coils of the pre-arterial segment present on the right side of the abdomen, and post-arterial segment lies towards the left side. So we can see the cecum, initially it is present on the left side, and in between the superior mesenteric artery is there. Now inside the abdomen there is a rotation. Again there is a rotation, anti-clockwise rotation to 180 degrees. So second rotation to 180 degrees, what happens? The post-arterial segment now turns and comes towards the right side of the abdomen. Initially so now the cecal bud is present in the subhepatic region just below the liver, and later because of the growth of this colon, the cecal bud will grow down and it forms the cecum and the appendix and settles in the right iliac fossa, and the rest of the colon which attaches to the cecum from above, it is called as ascending colon, and further it takes a hepatic flexure to form the 2/3 of the transverse colon, and the duodenum is pushed upwards into the mesentery towards the dorsal side posterior abdominal wall, because there is no place for the duodenum in the abdominal cavity because of these coils of the small intestine. So once the duodenum goes up, we can see the superior mesenteric vessels lie anterior to the duodenum, and the same vessels lie posterior to the transverse colon. So the rotation of the midgut explains why the superior mesenteric vessels are present anterior to the duodenum and posterior to the transverse colon. So after rotation, now 180 degrees of rotation, the post-arterial segment, this is the post-arterial segment present towards the right, and the pre-arterial segment is present here, and in between the superior mesenteric vessels are present. So this is 180 degrees of rotation. So after rotation 180 degrees, this is how they are present in the abdominal cavity. So the total rotation of the midgut is 270 degrees anti-clockwise, that is initial 90 degrees outside the abdomen, and the rest of the 180 degrees is inside the abdomen. So totally 270 degrees anti-clockwise rotation. So this is how the rotation of the midgut and development of midgut happens. So after the organ reaches to their original position, the fixation occurs. This is, and we shall see some clinical aspects of the development of midgut. Clinical aspect of midgut. The first study here is about the omphalocele. Omphalocele is also called as exomphalus, where the primitive midgut loops which are formed outside the abdomen, they fail to involute back into the abdominal cavity, which happens after 10th week of intrauterine life. If they fail involuting back into the abdominal cavity, the condition is called as omphalocele. So we can see the umbilical sac containing coils of intestines which are present outside the abdominal cavity. Meckel's diverticulum. We know the vitellointestinal duct communicates with the yolk sac and the midgut. Usually the vitellointestinal duct regresses during 6th week of intrauterine life, that is when the cecal bud appears. So during 6th week of intrauterine life, the vitellointestinal duct will regress and disappear completely. If this vitelline duct is persistent in its proximal part, it is called as Meckel's diverticulum. These are the other anomalies related to vitellointestinal duct anomalies. So beginning with the Meckel's diverticulum, the proximal part of the vitellointestinal duct is patent, and the caliber is almost similar to that of the ileum, and structurally also it may be similar to that of ileum. Sometimes there may be parietal cells or oxyntic cells present in the Meckel's diverticulum, which produces HCl and later forms peptic or parietal ulcers. And it is also responsible in the inflammation causing peritonitis. And intestinal obstruction may also cause because of this Meckel's diverticulum. The second condition here is the vitelline cyst, means the proximal and the distal parts are closed. In between the cyst is formed, which is fluid filled structure. Vitelline cyst is also called as enterocystoma. And if both sides the vitelline duct is patent, that is opening into the midgut and externally out through the umbilicus, it is called as vitelline fistula. This is other condition which is called as raspberry tumor. Raspberry tumor is also associated with the development of Meckel's vitelline duct. The distal part of the vitelline duct, if it is persistent where the proximal part is closed, then it may project out of the umbilicus like a red raspberry like, which is called as raspberry tumor. See about the abnormal rotation of the midgut. Reverse rotation, that is normally the gut rotates anti-clockwise 270 degrees, that is midgut rotation. Suppose if the midgut, instead of rotating anti-clockwise, it rotates clockwise, then it is called reverse rotation. In this condition, the duodenojejunal loop, which has to be lying on the posterior abdominal wall, it lies anterior to the transverse colon, and superior mesenteric artery lies anterior to the transverse colon. So this causes the compression of superior mesenteric artery, leading to obstruction of superior mesenteric artery. I hope you all understood the development of midgut. Kindly like, share, subscribe and press the bell button for further notifications. Bye.